look, divorce is devastating. It doesn't have to be, but often it feels that way, right?
Yeah.
It's leveling. Everything changes all at once and it continues to change over an extended period of time.
Yeah.
And during that time, all those strong emotions kick in.
Hi, and welcome to Beyond Empty Nest. I'm your host, Jody Silverman, speaker, mentor, and Chief Dare Officer at Moms Who Dare. Every Thursday, I'll share stories of midlife transformation, happiness tips, and dare you to see the opportunities waiting for you so that you can make this next chapter even better than the last. If you're ready to dare, I'm ready to dare with you. Let's get into today's episode. Are you stressed? That's what we're talking about today on Beyond Empty Nest. Yep, that sneaky little thing that can derail your day, your mood, and even your health. But don't worry, I've got you covered. We're talking about easy ways to identify stress before it spirals, simple strategies to manage it, and why self-love isn't just a buzzword. It's actually one of the most powerful tools to keep stress at bay. If you've been feeling like life's pressure cooker is about to explode, stick around. By the end of this episode, you'll have some fresh ways to lighten your load and feel more in control. So grab your coffee, take a deep breath, and let's get into it. Because today you're here to meet my friend, Jessica Hallahan. Jessica and I have known each other for years now. She's not just a friend, she is the owner and founder of Journey to Yourself. She's a dynamic speaker and a stress management health educator. Through her career in education, she has discovered a universal truth. Everyone faces challenges with handling stress at some point. Jessica has made it her life's mission to help you manage and relieve stress so that you can live a healthier, more balanced life, mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to the show, Jessica.
Hey girl, hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, I couldn't wait. We waited so long to like have this conversation, and I'm really excited for the audience because there's never a wrong time to talk about stress
No,
because
no.
it always creeps up. And before we dive into the topic, we're going to talk about easy ways to identify and manage stress. And I know you have great strategies, and I love the part about how self-love is not just a buzzword, that it does play a role in reducing it. I always like my guests to share their backstories. How is it you found yourself in this line of work?
Yeah, of course. So I started my career in the drug and alcohol field. I grew up in an addiction household. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be a drug and alcohol therapist. So I hit that route. And while I was there, I was working with men, reduce their sentence from jail, coming into the rehab. Did it for a couple of years, absolutely loved it. Obviously, never a boring day. But what I realized was that there was a revolving door from my clients, but also my coworkers. They both were struggling with this word stress. How do you communicate? How do you set these boundaries? Time management. And so my mindset was we have to do something else. I want to be on the prevention side of things. So I went back to school, got my master's in public health. And during my applied learning, I created a stress management program at a dentist's office. So I was a health educator at a dentist office working with low income families. And I created this applied learning process where I taught the parents how to communicate to their children and how their children could, start to like not be scared of the dentist. And I taught how the employees could talk to the parents. And so I brought that back to my professor. And my professor said, you can make this a business. And I said, what? Like just teaching and doing educational workshops? He said, yeah. He said, it's so easy. You bring a workshop and then people pay you. And I said, if it's that easy, I'm going to do it. So 4 years later, it wasn't that easy, but it's been a lot of fun.
It's
It's been a
never
lot.
that easy, but wow, you know what? I've known you for a long time. I never heard that part of your story. A professor. Isn't that wonderful that they saw
Yeah.
that? And you know what? I forget all the time, but going to the dentist is one of the most stressful, high anxiety things for a child, and as a result, for the parent as well. I know
Yes.
I get stressed because I have a whole thing around the gag reflex. So for me, going to the dentist, I'm not scared of pain, or it's that like gag reflex that is so stressful. So wow. So you started out with the dentist. That's interesting. I like that. story. So here you are, and it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy to build a business, and it's not easy to get the word out. We have so many avenues and ways with the internet and to get the word out and social media, yet it's so loud and cluttered, it's hard to break free. But you've been very successful. We've been friends for a while through the networking community. I know that you get asked to speak all about this. And I love, journey to self. And we very much are in alignment with who we serve and what we like to do. And we love to support those men and women and help them create change for themselves. So let's dive into ways to identify and manage stress. And we'll get into self-love soon, but I mean, let's give the audience some real ways to identify, like, how do you know you're in a stress mode? And then what's your number? Like, I would love to know your top 1, 2, or 3 strategies to what do you do with it when you find yourself in a stress moment?
Yeah, of course. Can we say tequila on here? No.
Oh no, you can say tequila. I think bourbon. You say tequila.
I'm just
I say
kidding.
bourbon. Okay, we're all kidding. You're not
Uh,
drinking alcohol.
I'm just kidding.
I know.
So the first thing I have to tell you is how to even define the word stress. I think that's the biggest thing so we can understand how to create that awareness. So through my training, through my education, I was taught that stress is a reaction to change, meaning that it's going to happen every single day, right? We're like, okay, everyone go online. I sign on clock at 8 a.m. My Zoom doesn't work, or my email is down, the dog is barking. Like there's so many different things, right? And so understanding that all those different things, I'm going to have a reaction. And I really focus on the small ones because how we react to the small ones will help deter how we react to the bigger stressors, right?
Yep.
So there's 3 ways we react to stress. Physical, which is your body, that's your first response. That's our good old like hair turning gray. That's our eye twitching, our favorite migraines, all those kind of fun things that we're like, I'm so busy. My eye always twitches. My back always hurts. I got things to do. I keep moving on. Then we have our emotional reaction, which is the anxiety, the frustration, the irritability. Why do you chew like that? Have you always chewed like that? Why are you still chewing like that? Those kind of things.
Ah,
And when we typically start to realize we're stressed, it's through our behavior. So that's, some of us have teenagers on here. I know maybe it's the empty nesters, so maybe they're not teenagers anymore, but this is a prime moment we remember. I'm not slamming, I'm not talking loud, I don't have an attitude, all those kind of things. So even now, if it's the, Amazon shopping, it's the scroll. The biggest thing is understanding that stress is a reaction to change. You're going to react physically, emotionally, and behaviorally. And realizing it is the small ones and start to really realize how I react to those small ones first. Because how I react to work stress and how I react to husband stress and how.
okay. Okay. Well, no, that's important. And so it's noticing where you feel stressed. Because you hear people talk about that, people in your field. And I talk a lot about how you feel, like you can feel it for a second. I can feel, for me, if my jaw starts to get tight, I'm like, oh my God, what am I thinking about? What am I doing? That is a clear indication that whatever I'm doing is stressing me out to some level. So
And I
it's,
love that you said, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, go ahead.
I love that you said that too. Like you go, okay, my jaw is being tense. Amazing. I love that you have that awareness around like that's one of your triggers, right? Like, okay, something's happening. I think the biggest part with this is don't hype. I mean, I'm not saying you do this, but I'm just
No,
for some of the people that are listening. Don't hyper focus on like, oh my God, where did my brain go? What am I doing now? It's noticing, okay, I'm realizing this, and that's how I'm going to react. And we'll get to that in a second because this is the thing. You ever go on a roller coaster and you're flipping and all that kind of stuff, and you get off? And minutes later, your stomach's still kind of turning. So
yes.
just because you have that reaction now, it might not be from an immediate thing. Does that make sense? So it could have been from an earlier conversation. It could have been from an earlier incident, and you're now just realizing some of your reaction.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I want to like. Yes, I love that you have that awareness. I don't want you to hyper focus that it's something in that now moment.
Duly noted. That's a very good point. A very good point. Yes, because there are times where I'm like, why is my jaw so tight? And I not even doing anything. Or so yes. Okay. I like that. Thank you for that.
So take some of that stress off. You're like, okay, I'm noticing it.
Notice it. My jaw is tight.
My jaw's tight. And and listen, this is the biggest thing. I don't want all of us coming off this episode going, oh, I have to be happy all the time. No,
No.
my job is to teach you if my jaw's tight and I'm frustrated, I'm so allowed to be frustrated. I'm so allowed to be annoyed. It's what I'm doing when I'm in those modes, right? It's that reaction, it's that behavior reaction that I have to be aware of.
And that's what we need. That's what we get to. Forget me. That's what we get to learn from you so that it doesn't affect us health wise, so that we don't get the headache, so that we don't get IBS and we're sick to our stomach, so we don't suppress our immune system. You know, there was something in my Happy for No Reason certified training program. There's something called the Heart Math Institute. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but they're the leading researchers in heart and love and how the heart gives off electric magnetic field. And they came up with, in their research, that there is the heart incoherence and heart coherence. Incoherence would actually be like when your heart is feeling like it's racing up and down. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because in their research, they found that just 5 minutes of being in heart incoherence, frustration, anger, sadness, can suppress your immune system for up to 5 to 6 minutes. And conversely, just 5 minutes of being in heart coherence, calm, and a state of gratitude and lovingness can boost your immune system. So, and I say that again with the disclaimer, it doesn't mean you're never going to be in that heart incoherence. You're never going to be mad, angry, frustrated. What I like from you is how do you identify it, and then the strategies to catch it, to identify it, and then what we do to bring ourselves out of it. Because every time we do that, it'll be quick. The goal is to quicker and quicker, notice it quicker so that we're not in it as long, right?
100%. You don't want to be in it for as long. And that's what it is, right? So just like you said, that 5 to 6 minutes, it does take a toll on us. And again, I'm not here to beat you up on that. It's the fact of like just creating that awareness of like, okay, I'm feeling really frustrated right now. And once I have that awareness and I take that moment to realize my jaw is getting tense, that, his chewing is really bothering me, but that email that I would have got last week didn't bother me, but it bothers me today.
Right.
And so taking that awareness is, like you said, the first thing. So I now see that I'm really annoyed and his driving, his chewing, the email is bothering me.
Okay.
The first thing is I communicated with myself, I'm allowed to be annoyed. Period, done.
So
give myself the permission to be frustrated, right? And again, we don't want to react on it. I'm just giving myself that permission, because once I start telling myself, okay, stop being annoyed, what are you going to be? You're going to be so annoyed, right? So if I think you're a skier, right? If I'm skiing and I'm looking down the ice and all that stuff, and I'm like, don't hit the tree. What am I focused on? I'm focused on the tree.
Hitting the tree, right?
You're going to hit that damn tree, right? So when I'm frustrated, okay, I'm allowed to be frustrated. Just, you're okay. You can be frustrated. And just even that moment is starting to calm yourself down. And then what you can start to do is start to have that conversation. Maybe he's driving and you're like, oh my God, he loves slamming on these brakes. Why does he love slamming on these brakes? And so it's just, hey, husband, I'm getting a little frustrated. Oh, why are you getting a little frustrated? The jolting is getting me a little frustrated. And you just start to have the gentle conversations. It's not me going, stop slamming your brakes. It's just me going, I'm feeling myself getting frustrated. Can we just take a break on the brakes for a second? It's a gentle conversation, if that makes sense.
Yes, because if you're recognizing it, so what I hear you saying is you recognize it, permission to feel something. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling frustrated. Take a beat. And which allows you to not react. You take a pause. I call it taking a beat.
Love it.
Just a pause. And then expressing, you're allowed to say, you got to stop. You got to chew with your mouth closed, please. I can't look anymore. Like,
yeah. And then do that laugh at them, right? Like just so you did, because it's how I'm communicating it, right? I'm not.
So that it's a real thing. Like, you don't want to belittle the feeling. Like, it's really,
Yes.
I'm really anxious when you slam on the brake a lot. It makes me scared. And and can you try not to, please?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, you make that joke, you make it that lightness with it. You don't even have that conversation.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest thing I have to tell you guys. Let's process this for a second. Stick with me. Just because I told somebody not to do something doesn't mean they're going to stop right away. Listen to what I'm saying. Stress is a reaction to change. So if I say every Tuesday, I need you to have the dishwasher unloaded, and this Tuesday he does it, next Tuesday he doesn't do it, this Tuesday, he is creating a new habit. Habits take time. We're all in this like subconscious, like automatically just slam the brakes. I automatically just walk past the dishwasher. So me reminding is allowed. This is the difference. I'm not doing the dishwasher. I'm just saying, hey, remember I said Tuesday, I really need the dishwasher unloaded, right? And so remember that they have their own habits that have to break. And I think that's a big thing I have to tell you too, is that just because they speak up, as much as I would say, and then automatically they're never going to do it again, and then it's going to be great. No, you're going to have to repeat yourself. And I will promise you that one of my stressors is repeating myself. So I totally understand too.
No, those are two really good examples on how to not allow something that could feel annoying and stress you out in a relationship, ruin your relationship. Because is it
Oh, yeah.
is it really worth destroying a relationship because somebody forgot to unload the dishwasher 1 week, or somebody doesn't drive the way you like them to drive, and then there's a whole, I talk a lot to my moms about stress, about stressful conversations that they have with people. I'm like, you don't have to engage with conversations that make you stressed. Like the political conversations. Like I have a family member, all she wants to do is talk about politics. And I said, I don't do
Can't.
this. I
I
don't want to.
can't.
I don't want to.
No,
And she goes, why? I said, because it stresses me out. And I don't want to give it the energy.
I
And
don't want to
it's
give it the energy.
not that I don't want to have a conversation with you. I can't. This is about me not wanting to feel upset and have my head explode. So let's just not have it. It's a
I
boundary.
think
It's kind of like
there,
a boundary.
it's 100% a boundary. It's 100% a boundary. And I think what you're saying too, and I think this is a clear thing. When I have that awareness, I'm going to recognize that when I talk to Aunt Susie, that my blood pressure is coming up when we talk politics. But maybe when I talk to, you know, Aunt Joanne, it's easier because it's a different kind of conversation. So recognizing, like you said, that energy, that feeling, having that awareness, whatever word you want to have, but recognizing what is happening when I'm having conversations with the different people. Because it's also maybe not the conversation per se, it's
Right.
who I'm having that conversation with.
This is true. This is true. Very true. So I love it. It's all about awareness, right? All about
Yes.
self-awareness is the key to like a great life. It really is. It's self-awareness of everything. So, okay. So let's talk about, I love this part of it because you hear self-love, self-love, self-care, self-love, self-love. It's not just a buzzword.
No.
I know that you really focus on this when you do your talks, that self-love plays a key role in reducing stress. So what is self-love in the world according to Jessica? And
Yes.
how can we do more of it?
Self-love is how we perceive ourselves. So stick with me for a second. Self-love is not me getting my nails done. It is not me getting a massage. It is not me with my feet up with a bowl of ice cream. Now listen, I think you should do those things. I love those things. I encourage those things. What I self-love is that's literally that relationship with myself. So listen with me. Is when you tell me, so Jody, you go, oh, Jess, what you just did was really stupid. Not that you would ever talk to me this way, but I'm just saying,
Never.
never. It's not
Okay.
in your vocab, but stick with me because these are normal conversations, right? That was really dumb. That was
Yeah.
really stupid. Now, the relationship with myself is, I think I'm dumb. I think I'm stupid. So
Mm.
now you just validated that I'm dumb and stupid. And granted, you might be like, oh, Jess, what a dumb thing to do, as like a passive joke or a passive, like, I made a mistake. I forgot. I made a left turn instead of a right turn. Like it was something, quote unquote, to your, like, it had been something simple, right? Well, now you just validated a thought that I have with myself that I'm this idiot. I make all these mistakes. And well, now Jody thinks I'm stupid. Well, Jess, you are really stupid. And that conversation that goes so quickly is
Yeah.
now on thing. And now you get down, go, oh, would you want ice cream? Oh, now you think I'm fat? Wait, what? Huh? Where? No, what? When did we get over there? And seeing how quick we have just jumped from, oh, we're driving to go to see grandma, and I thought we should grab ice cream really quick, and you made the wrong turn, and here we are, to she thinks I'm dumb and fat and ugly.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And that can, and you know what? Sadly, that happens to a lot of people.
Yes.
So
So
self
quick,
loving on yourself and knowing that you're not dumb, fat, and ugly.
right? But think about how quick that conversation just went. And that's the thing, right? When I start to make this time to start to have awareness and realization around myself, I start to realize, okay, Jess, she didn't say that. And this is one of my favorite ones. It's it's not what you heard, it's what they said. It's not what you heard, it's what they said. Meaning, Jess, come on, you made a left turn, we were supposed to go right. That's what you said. What I heard was just making another mistake again.
Mm.
What self conversation, self love, self relationship do I have that's going to trigger and validate these things outside stuff?
You know what? That is that. And then that goes, I have to say, I have to give it a plug, my self-talk cleanup. My
Yes.
self-talk cleanup, which is the very first 21-day program and the very first talk I ever gave as a public speaker. And that's what it's about. It's about creating that awareness around your thoughts and your talk so that you can love on yourself better. You can clean it up so that when I say, Jess, I can't believe you just missed the turn, you say, no, I missed the turn
Jordan.
instead of I always make mistakes.
Yes.
Yeah. And so self-love, yeah, because if you're always going to the dark side, God, the stress and the anxiety and the disappointment you must have inside of you.
And think about that. Think about what needs to be loved there, right? So going back to the dishwasher situation, we'll make it, let's make it all full circle. I asked my husband, hey, Tuesday night, I need you to empty the dishwasher. Yep, gotcha, babe, gotcha, babe. I come home, it's not emptied, right? Oh my God, he never shows up for me. He's always too busy doing it for somebody else. He doesn't love me. His
Mm,
action has now validated thoughts and feelings I have with myself. When in reality, he got a phone call about his mom that uncle was having a family emergency. And because I didn't ask, I didn't have a conversation, I went to, he doesn't love me, he doesn't show up for me.
yeah.
Instead of going, hey, husband, are you okay? You said you were going to do the dishwasher for me. Oh my God, you know what happened? Mom called me. Uncle Joe is, it's a whole different
I
conversation.
wonder what happened that caused him to forget to do it or just not do it, not even forget.
Right.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, we jump right to, and not to be harsh, but we make it about ourselves when most of the time, giving if we pause and we just ask, I wonder what happened. I wonder what caused, husband to forget that. I
Yes.
wonder, I wonder why my friend had that tone of voice in her. I wonder what happened to her today instead of she sounded angry at me. And so it's all of that. It's the assumptions, right? It's assume nothing, clarify everything. But we make it
Oh,
about ourselves, and that's it
yeah.
because we're not loving on ourselves enough, right? That's self-love. So
Yeah.
how do you work on self-love?
Yeah, of course. Um, so the first thing I tell people is make time for you.
Okay.
Make time for you. 5 minutes a day. It's 5 minutes a day. And if that's like you're like, wow, that's just too much. Great. 1 to 2 minutes a day. And you know my favorite saying, drink the coffee while it's hot. 1 to 2 minutes, sit with that cup of coffee.
Yeah.
No phones, no TV, no podcast. It's 1 to 2 minutes, you and a nice hot cup of coffee. Come on. Just
You know
sit
what
there
I
with me.
do? Jess, you know what I
Tell
do?
me.
When
Tell me.
I'm having those weeks that are really full and busy and a little bit stressful and a lot's going on, I like the colder weather, but even in the warm weather, I'll take my cup of coffee. The sun rises outside of my garage. So I open my garage, I pull up a chair and I sit right at the entrance of my garage in my driveway with my cup of coffee. I just sit and I watch the sun, whether it's risen or not. I do that and it makes the world of difference. And I only do it for about 5 minutes.
It doesn't have to be crazy.
And it
I'm
gets
not
me,
asking
versus, and I enjoy my cup.
you enjoy your cup of coffee and think about what's happening. Remember when we growing up, if the TV didn't work, the computer didn't work, my cell phone didn't work, you unplugged it and you counted to 5 and you plugged it back in. That's all we're doing. We're
Yeah.
restarting. If we have to do that for technology, you have to do it for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, here's another. I'll share this tip that I do. I love sharing.
Yeah.
And then I want to hear something you do for yourself.
Yeah.
So one thing I do is like because I work at home like a lot of people, and I'm an entrepreneur. And whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for somebody else, or you work from home, you take a lunch break. Take a lunch break. I don't care if it's 15 minutes or a half hour. I take a half an hour minimum every day. I make my lunch. I have this little reading center set up on my island in my kitchen. I eat my lunch and I read my book. It takes me away. Like
Yes.
it takes me out of my head. So I want to know, what's one thing you do that you make time for yourself, for self-love,
It's
cultivating?
definitely lunch. I will say lunch is definitely important. I think the biggest thing with that is away from your computer. So if you're
And
going to take that lunch break,
your phone.
and just put it
Your
away.
phone is a computer. It's a
And
little
take the
bugger.
technology away.
Take your Apple Watch off. Ew.
Just yeah.
I love
Um,
that one.
I can't.
So you
But
do
like
lunch?
I know the benefit of them, so I'm not hating on them. It's not for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not for me
I think
either.
my family wishes I had one because it's like
You know what? That's a good way to say it. I'm not against them. It's not for me.
not for me. It's
Okay,
not for
so
me.
when you say lunch, like taking time for lunch for yourself is the way you cultivate your self-love on a
So
daily
there's a
basis?
couple things. I think what it is I have a routine. So I have my morning routine, I have my lunch routine, and I have a night routine. So I
Okay.
think establishing those routines is the biggest thing. So remember, stress is a reaction change, even if it's good change. So if you're like, well, I don't have any of those routines, great. If you're an afternoon person, start there. If you're a night person, start there. Just start somewhere. And I can
This
throw a
is your
million.
dare. This is
Yeah.
the dare. This has to be the dare.
Okay, tell me.
It has to be the dare. Unless you have
Let's do it.
something. Okay, this is your dare. I had to interject. I usually just like this is
No,
the
interject.
dare. This is your dare from Jessica on this episode to cultivate self-love so that when things are said or things happen, you don't go to the dark side about yourself, which will increase your stress, anxiety, and your overall well-being for your mind, body, spirit. So what are we going to do?
So I'll give you a couple. So then you can pick one, right? You're going to
Yep.
drink the coffee while it's hot. That's 1 to 2 minutes. You're going to have a lunch break. That's the morning one. Then I'll give you one for lunch, the lunch break away from the computer, all technology. Again, that's 5 minutes. Or a nighttime one. When you are done work and you've now made dinner and you've now, done all your things, I want you to change your clothes. Change your clothes. The day is over. You have now changed your clothes.
I love that. I do that. I do that. I'm going to tell you something. I prepare dinner and I
Yeah.
literally go upstairs. I put on my pajama shorts, my favorite sweatshirt. I call my Baba. It's my big, ugly, soft Baba sweat.
Yeah.
It's plain nothing gray sweatshirt from probably Walmart.
Yeah.
And I put on my big fuzzy socks. And that's how my husband comes home every day. He leaves. I'm in my pajamas. He comes home. I'm in my pajamas. He's like, "You got dressed, right?" I'm like, "Yes, I did."
I did. I did.
Oh, I love that. So you're going to create some type of new routine for yourself, whether it's morning, noon, or night.
Mhm.
And it's either drink the coffee while it's hot. It could be your tea. That's expression.
That's true.
Take lunch break away from all tech. Or at nighttime, after you're finished up business and doing what you need to do, change your clothes. It's the signals to your brain. It's the end of the day. I love that so much. Those are your dares. And if you forget, it's a new habit. Be kind and loving to yourself, right?
Yes. It takes 11 times to try to start a new habit on average.
I love it. I love it. Now, wait, you have a resource for us.
I have a resource page. Yes, I have either my time management guide or just a resource page in general that has a bunch of like
I
fun
think I
things.
think we share. I think we'll share below. They can find. I think it's a time management guide that we're sharing below.
Yeah. Okay. I wasn't sure which one I gave you. Yeah.
Either one will take you to Jessica's resources, all the links to connect with her on social and her website and grab that resource. Follow Fan and love her. She is amazing. If you can't tell right now, you're so easy to talk to, and I'm so grateful for your friendship, for your mentorship as a fellow entrepreneur, and for being part of the Beyond Empty Nest community. Really grateful. I know that this episode is much needed and a lot of people will gain from it. So thanks, Jessica.
No, thank you.
All right, everybody. What was your big takeaway? What was the aha? I want you one thing from every single episode. There's over 80. Could you imagine 80 tips or strategies that you can put into practice over time, one at a time. But what was it? Let us know. Send me a comment. By the way, at the top of the show notes, it's called fan mail. You can leave me a text message. I can't respond to it, but you can leave me what you think about this episode. Or if you listen to us on Apple, leave a review. We'd love to hear from you. Share it with a friend who is easily stressed. Help us spread the word, because the mission of this show is to make an impact on lives everywhere, supporting midlife women, empowering them to love on themselves and create their most fulfilled and daring life today. And remember that remember that next week, there'll be another new episode of Beyond Empty Nest. And as always, dare on. Love this episode of Beyond Empty Nest? Head to jodysilverman.com for full show notes and more fun resources. Hey, are you feeling stuck? Like every day is just Groundhog Day? It's time to shake things up with my 30 doable dares. These simple, fun challenges will get you moving, boost your mood, and spark that sense of accomplishment that you've been craving. Doing something new can transform your mindset and build your confidence. Are you ready to dare yourself? Click the link in the show notes and start today. Let me know which dares you took action on so I can celebrate with you. Dare on.